Welcome, everyone. My name is Christella Boca, and if you don't know me, I'm the Communications Director at Ontario Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And I just wanted to share a lesson that I learned about change. I hate change with a passion. So when COVID-19 came and it just changed every aspect of my life, my social life, work life, church life. It was a hard adjustment, but I discovered that not all change is bad. During this COVID time, I've been able to connect with people from all over the world. As a quick example, my dad had a milestone birthday and we celebrated as a family on Zoom. And I was able to meet family and friends from across Canada, the UK, Ghana. Some of them I knew, but I hadn't seen for a long time. Others I met for the first time. So it's just incredible what we've learned during this time about change, that it can be very profitable, especially in the sense of sharing the gospel. Now we can reach many more people than we could before at once. So I just wanted to have this refresh where we can talk about ways that we can maximize our potential for online ministry in this context and help to hasten the second coming of Jesus. So I'm just going to pray to start us off. So let's bow our heads for prayer. Dear Lord, I just thank you for waking us up this morning. I thank you for the faithful followers who are here from different corners of the world to learn about how they can market the gospel online more effectively and how everybody can be a digital missionary. So I just pray that everything will go smoothly and according to your honor and glory. In Jesus' name, amen. So just some housekeeping. So we're going to have 3 presentations today, God willing. So the first one is going to be secrets to engaging your live stream audience, then Canva, and a beginner intermediate live streaming setup. So each will be about an hour, and we will allow some time at the end for Q&A. So how the Q&A is going to work is that you can put your questions in the chat, and then we will ask as many as we're able in the time period. And don't worry if you don't see your question answered. We have 2 more days. We have a session on Monday at 7 p.m. with the TikTok guru, Pastor Kevin Wilson. And then on Tuesday, we have a session on live streaming, which will be mostly Q&A based with our media manager, FIFA Rakoto Erison. So we will try to answer your questions over the course of this training. And if not, then we'll have to have another training, which will be awesome. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speakers. So Rohan Wellington, I've known him for a few years. So he's now the Director of Professional Services for the North American Division of Seventh-day Adventist. That's a recent promotion. He manages a team of professionals, including specialists in graphic design, digital marketing, social media, media services, web design, web maintenance, and newsletter content creation. And this team supports the NAD ministries and services on different projects. Most recently, he was at the Greater New York Conference. That's where I met him. He was a co-worker of my dad, and he served there as English Ministries Coordinator from 2018 to 2021, Assistant to the President for Strategic Planning from 2015 to 2018, and Conference Communications Director from 2010 to 2018. So you have somebody very experienced here. He was also Managing Director from 2008 for Atlantic Union Adventist Media Ministries. And what I've come to know about him, and Mirari is here as well, so we're happy for that. So what I've come to know about him is that not only is he the consummate media professional, he's also an excellent teacher. I know that he has taught several people the basics of live streaming and media ministries from scratch. And one of his students is Mirari Medina, and I've seen them working together a few times, and I know that they're a dynamic duo, and I'm excited to hear what they both have to share. So moving on to Mirari, she celebrates her Salvadorian heritage as a 3rd-generation Seventh-day Adventist. She's formally educated in business accounting and holds a bachelor's degree in secondary education. She has a passion for youth ministry, photography, and technology in the digital space. She's a youth speaker who proudly shares her faith as a social media influencer on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And for the last 7 years, she's been the host for the YouTube DR Ministries adult devotional program with thousands of listeners every morning. She also works as a licensed massage therapist in a chiropractic setting and is a psychology student. She's married to Carlos, with whom she has one daughter, Madeline, and her daily passion is to serve God and help others. So she also is a very impressive media missionary. And I don't know how she finds the time to do everything she does, but God gives her the strength. So I will hand it over to our two expert speakers.
All right, great. All right, everybody, it's good to see you. I think I saw Adrian Booth there. I haven't seen him for about 20 years. Good to see you, buddy. And I see my good friend Damian Chambers on there. Good to see you. I don't know, Crystal, if you have Damian on there, then you don't need me or Mirari, man. You got the best of everybody there. But that's all right. But thank you, Crystal. Thank you for putting Mirari and I together. We did this one time for a lay training school, and really enjoyed working with Mirari. And so when I saw the flyer and that we were put together once again, I'm saying, man, I'm excited to do that. Mirari is a great, great media professional. She is the bling bling. We call her the host of the host of the Spanish community. So if there are any Spanish people on here, ella es una persona de famos. Ella es la presentadora de muchos programas de la gente de hispano. She is the Spanish host of the adult program Matutina. All right, so let's get going. So we're talking today about streaming and online engagement. So technology is disruptive. It also has innovation and isolation. We're going to be talking about how do we streamline and share the word of God digitally today online. All right, watch this for me.
Of all cell phone, electronic, and messaging devices at this time. If your device should go off during announcements today, in addition to your regular weekly offering, you will be fined $25. Should your device go off during prayer concerns, the fine will increase to $50. If your device goes off during our sermon today, you're going to hell. Remember, God wants your complete attention. Thank you, and enjoy the service.
All right, everybody remember those days about having streaming in church? All right, Carla, I see you laughing. You're enjoying the moment on that one. But it's meant to be humorous. It's a time when, technology has changed the way we do ministry, and it has changed the church in a significant way. Disruptive doesn't necessarily mean bad. Christelle was talking about, well, she doesn't like change when she started. Well, guess what? Change is here, and it is here to stay. COVID-19 has changed the world, all right? Here's what it's a quote that I share in some presentations that I make. Leaders who pretend nothing needs to change end up being blacksmiths in the era of automobile Sears, in the age of Amazon and Kodak, in an Instagram culture. All right, that's a reality that we are facing right now. Reality that we're facing right now. All right, the future is here. Put in the chat if you have ever heard of Second Life. Have you ever heard of Second Life? Just say yes or no. Second Life. If you have ever heard of Second Life, put it in the chat quickly. Yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. All right, keep it going. No, no, no. Yes, no, yes, no. Okay. If you have never heard of Second Life, I am sure you will know what Second Life is similar to after this presentation. All right, here it is. The virtual church is here to stay. Would you agree with that, Mirari?
Yes, I'm agreeing.
All right, online worship service. No, people don't have to leave their homes to go to worship. People go to church in the church of pajamas. But who would have thought that Second Life? No, Second Life is a space where it's a virtual environment where people stream and they live and they buy real estate, they build churches, they do all of that stuff. And it's kind of a wane now. We had a limited presence there, but Second Life is about to come to life again. All right. You're going to ask me, how is that? Okay. Anybody ever heard of this one?
Yes.
Facebook what? Meta, okay? And metaverse. Now, some people say, I just read that, that's a New York article that says why Facebook metaverse is dead on arrival. And I was talking to some young people and they said, well, not necessarily, because everything's going to be in that virtual space where you wear these things and you're going to be living that virtual experience. Now, the truth of the matter is you may not like it, but that guy by the name of Mark Zuckerberg pretty much determines our culture right now, unless we make a decision to deviate from that. Not going to spend much time on that because I only have half an hour. But the point that I'm driving is we must be willing to accept change. They changed their branding, their marketing. They want everybody to know that their company is not just about social media, but it's about something bigger and different. All right, I'm laying the foundation. You soon hear Mirari talk. Just laying the foundation. So streaming. We're asked to talk about streaming and the online platform. Our foundation is, of course, gospel, Matthew 24, verse 14, and this gospel shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all the nations, and then shall the end come. All right, let's get to it. Streaming your service gives it gospel its global impact. All right, just type in the chat for me for the 105 of you. Where are you watching from? What part of the world are you watching from? Just so you see the global impact of what we're doing. Canada, Jamaica, Belize, Toronto, Jamaica, Canada. What's that? New York, Winnipeg, Brampton, Jamaica again, Newfoundland. There you go. Toronto. Keep going. Brampton, Canada. Keep going. Scarborough. All right. Canada is in the house. Richmond Hill. That's in Queens, right? So that's good. London, right? London, Ontario, Canada. Ever heard of that one before? Which is it? London, Ontario, or Canada, or is it London, Ontario, Canada? But that's cool. But watch this. People are watching are being a part of this from all over the world, right? New York, Maryland, London, Jamaica, the West Indies, and Canada. But watch this. Most of our streaming is this. It's a fly on the wall type of experience where we're streaming and we want everybody else to be on the fly on the wall to watch our streams, rather than developing our streams so that we can speak directly to the fly on the wall, so that we can speak directly to that audience. So we're going to do that just now. Streaming your church service is for the public. It's not for you. Oh man, I'm going to mess you all up this morning. All right. So it's not for you. Once you go live, it's gone to the world. The world can criticize it. They can tear it apart. They can say, I don't like your voice. I don't like how you look. These people can't sing. These people don't do what they're doing. They can say anything they want to, and you better learn how to accept it, because that's the reality. All right. So once you start your streaming, it's no longer for you. So if you're not ready for the public eye, and if you're not ready to be criticized, if you're not ready, it's better to wait. Okay. Streaming without an engagement plan is an error many churches make. All right. So here it is. All right. Walk you through this so you can get to see this. Evidencias de Esperanza. You want to tell us what that is, Mirari?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Yes, Evidencias de Esperanza will be in English, Evidence of Hope. It's a program that I decided to put on my YouTube channel every Friday at 8 p.m. live program, and where I invite different people, like doing interview, studying the Bible, and different topic as psychology, mental health, and all related.
All right, excellent. Now, before you started streaming, what did you start with? Before you started even putting this all together, where did it start?
Well, it started like, the fight of what will be the title, like what it be the topic about it, like what I can talk about it, and designing the color of the flyer and everything like that. And
All right.
And asking
There
your
you
help.
go. And that's important. That's important because guess what? This is the important thing. In your streaming, a lot of people don't realize that these two pieces are extremely important. Before you start your streaming, what's the plan? Even if you're streaming a worship service, what's the plan? What's the plan that you have? Okay, I want to stream a worship service, but I also want to stream a special program. The beauty of what we have here is I do a lot of worship services. And Mirari is our digital content strategist, as well as our social media facilitator. But she does a lot of programs live on her own, right? Both audio and video. And this is one of the things. When she was doing Evidencias de Esperanza, she was able to sit and say, okay, this is my plan, but I want this color, I want this branding, I want this look, I want this feel. And we sat together and she said, all right, Wellington, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I gave my 2 cents of an advice. I don't know how much it went with her, but she is doing a series. How many programs have you ran now?
Wow. Since March until this day, like every Friday. So I don't remember how many.
and it's going good. It's going good. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about cross-posting in a minute. So I'll let you pick that up, the cross-posting element. All right. But as you're planning the design streaming process, the plan, the design, the branding, what's the look and the feel, okay? Everything that you see on that flyer is intentional. The text, the etched out, graded out, faded out look of Evidencias de Esperanza, that's design. The sketchy swap that you see behind Facebook and YouTube and Vivo, which means live, that's intentional. The color contrast, it's intentional. All of that is intentional in creating that look. You have to build a brand around your designs, including your worship services, okay? Including your worship services. What about your talent? Who is going to host the program? Hello? It's very important that you understand that not everybody is ready for prime time. Y'all can't say amen, but it's okay. Just say ouch. and there are some people that you have to just tell them, man, I love you and appreciate you, but you're not going on camera. Because listen to me, you only have one opportunity to make a good impression, okay? And then people will move on. Personnel, that's different. Who is going to support your stream? Somebody called, 2 ladies called me this week, and I put them on to Mirari. Mirari is the YouTube specialist. So they said, oh, Wellington, we want to start a YouTube channel. I said, well, pretty much, I'm only going to ask you a few questions, and then I'm going to send you to Mirari. Mirari can walk you through that process, okay? But the question is, okay, what are you trying to do? Where are you going? I'm going to ask those questions, but tell me about your personnel. Who's going to help to broadcast this? If you don't have competent people, then you may run into some problems, okay? Equipment. A lot of people ask this question about equipment, or what are the equipment? What equipment do we need to buy? If your first question is what equipment do you need to buy, you are asking the wrong question. Okay? If you're looking for me, those of you who are on for the 109, I'm on Pacific Union Conference Room. That's the camera I'm talking to. All right? So if that's what you're asking, then you got to say, okay, what exactly is the equipment that I will be using. All right. Let me get to the next one here. Okay. Where is my destination? Where am I taking this? Where am I broadcasting this? Where am I putting this out? We'll talk a little bit more about that quickly. And what is my strategy for follow-up? All right. I'll give you 2 seconds to screenshot that because you're going to need that. That streaming process is very, very important. The plan, design and branding, your talent, personnel, equipment, destination, and follow-up. All right, that's crucial. All right, let's get to the next one. All right, design and branding. So this is a design and branding that I did for Footprints of Hope. Footprints of Hope was a live broadcast we did in October of this year in New York City. That's the set layout, okay? Now, a lot of churches don't want to spend money in this, but I can tell you this is one of the best things you could ever do in your live streams. Set design is very important. So if you're going to build a set, we were trying to build this set out between New York, and the speaker was in Jamaica, Pastor Glenn Samuels. And the problem is we bought the set, 2 sets. We bought the set, built it here, and we bought a set to send to Jamaica to make it look identical. It never got cleared in time, so we were not able to make the 2 sets look alike because of the shipping. But that's something that you want to bear in mind as you go through. That's not a virtual, that's a physical. It looks like New York City. It was a New York City real look and feel. Thank you. It's physical. All right. So questions you need to ask as you're streaming. What are you streaming? Are you streaming a live worship service, or are you streaming a live program like Mirari? Who is your target audience? What are you trying to target? Are you trying to target women, men? Somebody called me one day and said, well, we want to target the postmodern. Hello? But they want to target the postmodern with a traditional mindset. You can't want major league effects with minor league mentality. Oops, did I just say that? Oh man, I'm being recorded. I just said that. Oh yeah, but I said it. All right, you've got to decide where you're gonna meet, who you're gonna target. If you're trying to reach the postmodern, the style of your programming has to be different. Okay, you have to have that difference of approach. All right, what's your target audience? All right, what's my thing stop? What is your streaming software? We go through that. I'm watching the time, so you get to see. What is your best streaming portal? Is it YouTube, Facebook? Is it Instagram? And by the way, all 3 portals require different approaches. Okay, if you're streaming on Instagram, it's not you take the YouTube and send it to the Instagram. All right, it's a different approach. Mirari does a lot of live streaming on Instagram and on YouTube. How are they similar or different? Are they the same, Mirari?
Well, it's different because we have to know that Instagram is the audience is age between, like youth until 35, the most active people. Like, so we have to know all the topic for youth.
For just that group.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, excellent. All right, and then it does not have to be a worship service. I have to say this over and over, because a lot of churches, the only thing they set up to stream is their worship service. Let me give you a little bit of trick in this process. Even in your worship service, you should do something that specifically speaks to the people who are your live audience. So either the speaker comes and makes an appeal to those who are online, or the speaker has an engagement section, but you need to have something that engages the online audience. If your church is only doing worship service as you're streaming, you are not maximizing your truest potential as a church. All right, we got to watch the time. Streaming layout, you got cameras, we're talking about audio, we talk about lighting and content. This is extremely important. Camera is important, audio is important, but here's the big mistake. The last two, because a lot of churches, they go to church boards and they talk about camera and audio. This presentation is not about camera and audio, because guess what? Cameras change so quickly, audio equipment changes so quickly. I'll be wasting your time to talk about camera and audio. Lighting and content are the big things, okay? Now, all right, so live stream tips, run sheets, all right? How important are run sheets, Mirari?
Very important, because that keeps the program organized.
If you don't have a run sheet, put one in, okay? And please, the run sheet, the church clerk puts a nice bulletin together. You don't have to mess with the church clerk's bulletin. Leave that alone, that's fine. But take the bulletin and make sure you have a run sheet. With that run sheet, the stage manager will manage that stage, not the elders. Oops, did I just say it? Oh man, they're recording me. I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble. Mirari, can you talk to Christella? Ask them not to record me, please. I'm gonna get into a lot of trouble.
It's okay, don't worry.
Yeah, not the elders. Okay, the stage manager tells them, "Hey, come on, you go off this way, and you go up. You make sure the mic's working, and you go up. You speak. You don't go up and say, 'Happy Sabbath, everybody,' and then you speak for another 2 minutes before you do what you're supposed to do. You go up, do what you need to do, and get down. All right, you got 30 seconds to do it. And please, 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 please. Can I tell you what my pet peeve is? But they're recording me. Mirari, they're recording me. Can you tell them to stop recording me?
It's okay, don't worry. You can say
right,
it.
Here it is. Here it is. I'm going to get into big trouble. Here it is. You don't need to have the call to worship, the song after the call to worship, the song for the call to prayer, then the prayer, then the song after the prayer. Like, hello? You don't need that. You don't need that. You don't need that. All right? And please don't report me, but you don't need that. You just need the essential pieces to make your online worship service very engaging, because people will leave you if it is not engaging. All right? Cross-posting and then go live. I'm going to go to the next page. Cross-posting is a secret of engagement that will get you the most views for your lives. Okay? Now, let me give you a confession. Okay? That's why you don't need to do this thing alone. I think I know what I'm doing. But then I met this young lady by the name of Mirari Medina, and she knows everybody. She is extremely famous. She doesn't want to tell you how famous. She's Spanish, but she's learning English. She does well. She's very famous. But watch this. Tell us about the importance of cross-posting, Mirari.
Well, the importance of cross-posting first is knowing, as he said, like a lot of administrators of different pages of ministries. So I contact them, and what the cross-posting does is that I can go live on Atlantic Union Adventist Media, and the Atlantic Union can have like 1,000 followers or likes. So that like will reach just those people. But if I do the cross-posting to my page, Mirari Medina, to Pastor Wellington page, and Greater New York Conference, and Amos el Adventista, and Darwin Rodriguez, and S. The Conquist, and all those pages that you see, if every page has 1,000 likes or followers, that means if I have 10 pages in the cross-posting, I will be reaching how many? Like 10,000, right? That's what it does.
Well, watch this. So those are actual pages that I screenshot from our Atlantic Union, which I'm no longer there, but Mirari manages these pages, okay? Now, if you look at the top, look at memes 7 M-O-D-S, right? Memes, the second one from the bottom. Or Amor Ser Adventista, the first one, okay? That is the one, that's one that Mirari administers, okay? That has how many followers? 276,000 people. I told you she was famous. Then the other one,
Now
memes.
has the double. It's almost 500,000 of followers, that page.
No, it has 1 million?
Half a million.
500,000. Okay, now it has 500,000. Okay. And memes is 127,000. Okay. Now those we take in and out based on the lives that we're doing. If we put those pages and cross post to those pages, that moves your life from 10 people, from 100 people, from 20 or 200 people, all the way up to the thousands. Okay. And you can, because you're cross-posting, and you can do it to 20, 30, 40 pages. We have cross-posted to almost 100 pages already. When she did the, what's the last program you did? You hosted?
The campaign?
Yeah. What's the name of it?
Sin
Not
temor. Sin temor.
Sin temor.
Without fear.
Sin temor. They cross-posted to almost 100 pages. If not more than that. And hundreds of thousands of people are exposed to this thing. So cross-posting, big secret. If you're not using it, use it. It's big. But make sure you get permission, please. Okay? Because if you don't get permission and you start cross-posting, people drop you like flies rather quickly. All right? All right, basic needs. Content is king. If you don't own it, you don't have permission for it, don't play it or show it, all right? Don't just take up a YouTube video and start playing it. You'll get copyright violation and you will lose your channel. Now, let me just say this. You will lose your channel. Let me just say it again. You will lose your channel. Okay? Not because you're a church, not because you're a religious organization. YouTube will close down your channel. I had a pastor call me in the middle of worship service one Sabbath. Man, I'm in the middle of a campaign and YouTube shut me down. I was like, what can you do? I'm like, I can't do anything because it's all algorithm based. So you're talking to the computer. There's nothing that can be done. Okay? One conference lost its YouTube page. Up to this day, they still have not gotten back their YouTube page, all because they were playing a video from something that had copyright, and I guess they said some things that they were not supposed to say. When you go live, that's another thing. You know what? Some of the things you're not supposed to talk about, you need to be politically correct. You folks are in Canada, so you understand what I mean. You know the art of being politically correct on social issues. So I don't need to get into that. We're 3 minutes out. So, all right. So if you're doing an online worship service, it needs to be well organized worship service, good music, biblically engaging. But I need to get to this because we have only 2 more minutes and I need Mirari to go through some things. All right. Streaming software. Here's a list of them. OBS, StreamYard, Zoom, vMix, Restream, Wirecast, and Mevo all-in-one. Now the Mevo all-in-one is this standalone camera that you can do everything in there. If you're doing setup like this for a church, this is Sligo Church from this past Sabbath. I was presenting there and I did that from their screenshot. You have small setup, virtual setups, and large setups. If you're at the Q&A, if you want information on large setup, I can answer that. Streaming portal, we know what some of those are. Ustream, Facebook Live, you know those are some of your streaming portal options. All right, let me get to stream settings, 1080p or 720. YouTube can do both. StreamYard and Ecamm can do both, 1080. vMix can do both. Zoom can do 1080, but it's restricted. All right. If you don't know what you're doing with Zoom, I would say don't rush to use Zoom as a streaming portal. Everybody wants to stream from Zoom. Zoom is a very popular software. It has come up. It has grown over the pandemic. but I think you need to make sure you have something structured there. Look at where the people are, Gen Zs, okay? If you try to reach them, it's Instagram and YouTube, okay? Those are important things, okay? If you're trying to reach those folks. Remember Mirari said, it's a different audience. Watch this. You need to realize 13 to 18-year-olds, Instagram. 19 to 25, Instagram. 26 to 37, Facebook. And watch where YouTube is in the process, okay? Very, very important. So if you're streaming only to your website, you're missing an audience. And your worship service is not something you just want to put on Instagram. Instagram needs to be something that you develop. The Evidencias de Esperanza, the program that Mirari does, goes on YouTube, on the websites, and on restreams. But she does something different for Instagram. Don't just try to cross platforms your programs. Develop what's meaningful for each one. All right. You guys know this one, this guy, Andres Peralta. He has 54,000 followers. Mirari has 15,000 followers. You want to talk about how do you get these followers, Mirari, in 30 seconds, and how can people engage with their followers?
Well, I was using in the beginning a lot of hashtags and posting my work on photography, doing some like order of pictures like a lifetime. So it was kind of following some hashtag and things like that, and posting my podcast from YouTube, devotional adult devotional matutina. So it was like some people who were listening to me on YouTube, following me on Instagram because they saw my face.
All right. In YouTube, they don't see her face. They only hear her voice on YouTube for the devotional. But when they found out who she was, now everybody's following her on Instagram. All right, that's good. All right, this is a YouTube section. I want to build this point because this is what Mirari does. And on our Atlantic Union page, this is a recent program we're doing, Footprints of Hope. You look the city, that's the set background with Pastor Gregory Carroll, who was preaching. But note on the chat, you want to make sure that you have somebody on the chat to drive your algorithm. Tell us a little bit about what you do where that is concerned, Mirari, and how do you get people to be engaged in your live chat?
Well, first, what I do is showing my face, posting in all my social media, Instagram, Facebook, like, hey guys, we're going live on Atlantic Union YouTube channel or Facebook page. So letting them know that it's me who's going to be replying all the comments and things like that. And in the beginning, just like greeting them and asking them, please type from where you're connecting with us. And, you know, like kind of doing some questions and then following what the preacher or the host are saying. Like if the preacher say, please type glory to God. And I'm the first one, like I have to be full attention to that. So I can be the first one to type like glory to God and keep asking people to keep commenting.
Excellent. And that may sound simple but that's the key, because that drives the algorithm and allows it to graze your YouTube viewership, because the more engagement you have, the higher the algorithm puts you. Yeah, go ahead, Mirari.
Yeah, and one thing too in Facebook Live, when because I'm in at the same time YouTube channel and Facebook page, right? So in the Facebook page, when I'm not typing or doing something, I'm clicking the reaction, you know, like when the hands go like this and the hearts and all the reaction like that. So, and I realized when I start doing that, people keep reacting to the video.
All right. So you're leading the people in the engagement aspect. Okay. Now, whoever the speaker is, whoever the person is on that side must realize that the audience is a real audience and they need to interact with those people online. All right. We have 1 minute left.
Okay.
Right.
Una experiencia graciosa en el ministerio como pastor o como presidente o como esposo.
All right, tell us what is this. Tell us a little bit about this one, Mirari, quickly. And this is your YouTube program.
Yes, well, he's Pastor Henry Veras, president of Greater New York Conference. So I invite him to my program. And what I did is to do an interview asking a lot of personal questions about his ministry. And in that section, I'm asking for a funny experience as a pastor. So he's telling that he was baptized someone and the river or someone, it was like kind of brave and he was swimming all the way down, and that was the moment.
All right, good. All right, let's close off with this. How do we keep connected? How do we keep the folk connected? I skipped quite a bit. Crystal, I told you we had a lot. So Mirari, take it away. You talk, I'll walk you through them. You talk.
Okay, as you know, you have to post consistently. As you have to have an idea what you want to keep posting on your social media or account for church. Let's say you want to post a verse every day. So you have to have one the same time. Is like good to do it. If you say like, okay, every day at 8 in the morning, I'll be posting a verse from the Bible. So people will be expecting that. Don't do it alone. Ask always help for experts, as I did from Pastor Wellington. Be authentic, speak to real needs, use Instagram Reel more often. That's for Instagram. Speak to real needs is like if I'm in Facebook, I have to know which range of age the audience that I have. So I have to realize what could be the needs of those people. So I have to, I don't know, like take a notebook to write it, to have an idea. So why you can keep posting for them. Don't only preach, tell stories instead. That is especially for Instagram. As I say, okay, for Instagram, you saw the program I have for YouTube. For Instagram, I cannot post it all long because the audience, they won't engage for long videos. So I have to do a short, something like funny, something interest, like can engage with the youth audience. Build a strong brand. That's the design that you have to think. Colors and whatever will be related with the program that you're doing. Have a visually consistent feed. Choose the right hashtag. As I was saying, if you're talking about any topic, you can use hashtag about that. And of course, let them know you are Seventh-day Adventist and things like that. I will move to 11, take advantage of Instagram videos and add format. Next one, please. Explore the full range of Instagram video format. Use Instagram video subtitles and closed caption. This is one of the things that made a lot of people follow me who don't speak Spanish, because I have translation in my comments. So if I post something in Spanish, I try to type it so people can just see translation, so they have an idea what I'm posting about. Next one. Host an Instagram. No, well, we will move. Next one. Convert Instagram stories. This is one of the things that you can get more followers on Instagram. You post a story, something, I don't know, like a post, a verse or something, and you ask your followers to reshare that story. So that story will be, or post whatever you post on your Instagram, your followers will be sharing that, so their followers can have access what type of content you are creating. Use emojis effectively. Promote your Instagram channel on other social accounts. As you can see on my YouTube channel, I have all the links that people can find me on Instagram, can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and all that. Track and learn your best performing Instagram content. I think it's the last one, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and partner with micro-influence to create brand authenticity. This is if you are having, let's say, any content or something from the union conference or any church or personal ministry that you want to just reach amounts of followers, you can follow some influencers that have like a large number of followers and ask them like, hey, can you please share my content? Can you please do this and that? Of course, if you're doing for business, a store or something you are selling, there is a website that you can hire influencers for $50, $100, depends how much you want to pay and to do all that kind of business. Yeah.
All right. I think that's good. All right. As you're streaming, this is my final note. We're gonna end on this. I skipped quite a bit, but we need to end so we can get some Q&A in. Remember,
Pastor
content
Wellington?
is king. Oh,
Pastor Wellington, I'm seeing something in the chat. It's Marcos is asking, interact with your followers can help too, like their posts, comment, and so their stories. Yes, that can help too, because that makes relationship with your followers, that you are not saying like, hey, I'm the famous, you have to see me, you just have to see what I do, no, you have to take the time to go and see their stories, to comment something, to try to be kind and nice as they are with you.
All right, this is the last thing I'm going to say. If you're at church and you're here, this is the big trick I'm leaving with you all. This is the key to my success. All right, I'm letting you all know this is what I did, and this gave me the most success in my ministry. In media ministry, appoint a social media facilitator or a digital interest coordinator. You want to know who that is? That young lady right there by the name of Mirari Medina. And she handles all my accounts, all the media accounts on YouTube. And anything, she and another, we had the union communication director used to help me a lot on that too, Ednor Davison, but Mirari took it over. And they don't have to be in this physical space. Sometimes Mirari is just coming from work and she jumps on the computer and she's interacting with the live. Wherever they are, they can do this. You need somebody to interact with your live audience. And once you have that interaction going, it raises your algorithm, it raises your presence, it raises your channel, and you'll be able to reach and engage with a lot more folk. Last thing I'm going to say, I advocate here. So I tell people all the time, when you're working with your media team, always affirm your media team, because what they're doing is working for the Lord. It's not for themselves. Treat them well. Mirari and I work well together. Christelle saw us online and was able to put us together for this presentation. Thank you, Christelle. I appreciate you doing that. Really love working with Mirari, so it's great that we're able to do this morning. But if you're a media team, treat your media team. If you're a media team leader, treat your media team well, because they're not just pushing buttons. They're not just trying to get you live. They are actually working for the Lord. All right, that's it. I'll end on that. Hope this has been clear for you and that everybody has been blessed. Let's go to Q&A. Let's open up the chat and let's hear what people have to say.
So so I'm so happy that I was able to reunite Rohan and Mirari. I just loved their presentation that I saw at the GTA MA, and I knew that they would have some gems to share with us, and they did. So thank you so much. So what I've taken away so far is that change is here to stay. We have to pursue excellence in every aspect of live streaming and digital engagement, even things we might not think about, like our setup, even that makes a difference. And know your audience. Content is king. So we're going to move to the Q&A now, and we'll take about 10 minutes. And the first question that I have here is, okay, so it was a question from one of the pastors, which was, volunteers have no time to engage, and some churches have no money to pay for time invested. Recommendations?
Well, I will say first, you ask to local church, right? If you find no volunteers, post on social media as Dr. Wellington said, that I don't need to be like in the same place as he is. I can be at home. So there are a lot of people willing to do work for God. Just, I don't know, do a creative post finding those volunteers, because God will always provide.
Amen. Now, in terms of financial resources, you don't have to start big. The mistake that a lot of churches make is that they're trying to start big. Don't start big, start small and be consistent. The key to it is consistency. I did my lives and my live streams and my programs and started small, and they just blew up, mushroomed into what they were. I have not been doing much lives in the last few months, couple of months, because I moved here to Maryland and I have still living out of boxes. But come in the new year, when I set up, I just start with a small program again. And oh, by the way, as famous as Mirari is, Mirari does not go for the numbers. And this is very, very important for people to know, because there are sometimes you will only get 10 followers, 20 followers, 70 followers, 100 followers. And then sometimes it will be thousands of people. If you only do it for the numbers, then you will be doing it for the wrong reason. Do it for consistency, start small, and let it grow.
Yeah, so there's actually a suggestion in the chat. So it's relationships are probably the key to recruiting and retaining people. And in Ontario, high school students need 40 hours of volunteer hours in order to graduate. This can motivate some youth to volunteer. So that's another pool that you could tap into. Young high school students who need their volunteer hours, or even college students who need to do like an internship to graduate. So yeah, so obviously you can look there as well.
Don't try to find the perfect folk. Just try to find the folk who are willing. Always take attitude over aptitude, and you'll go far. Find people with the right attitude. You can train them. They'll take it. They'll run with it.
Okay, now another question that was a while back. So it was in the beginning during the echo. Is it possible to know what caused the technical hitch and what are the solutions?
Okay, so I have that set up. So I'm looking here at this setup of the computer here, and then I have that set up that's before me. So I'm watching that camera. So that camera has the audio that was coming through. So I needed to disconnect one of them. So I'm listening to the audio over there, but I killed the audio on this computer so I don't get the feedback. So that's what I did. Simple, all right?
Okay, perfect. So what is the qualifications for people to choose to go on camera?
Attitude.
I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to learn.
And willingness to learn. That's my number one, attitude and willingness to learn. Let me give you both scenarios, before the camera and behind the camera. One of the guys who is one of our camera operators, he was an electrician, knew nothing about camera operation, but he wanted to learn, but I needed an electrician on our production truck. And so I hired him as an electrician, but I taught him the ropes of how to operate the camera. And he knows that when you're stripping the wire for electricity, you are very careful because you don't want to get shocked. And so he knows the essence of being careful of how you operate. So with that same level of understanding, he was able to apply that to dealing with fiber cables, dealing with BNC cables, and being gentle. But then he also understood how to manually zoom the cameras nice and gentle. And that proficiency grew, where today he is the main camera operator, the center camera operator for the Atlantic Union Adventist Media. Before camera talent, let me just tell you, find people who are willing to do that. And I'll tell you, in our when I was at the conference level, Mirari is here. I'll use her as an example. We put her on camera, and she didn't want to go. She was like, I don't speak English well, and everybody's going to criticize me. I don't want to do this. And I was like, you're going, because everybody knows you in Spanish, but you do well in Spanish, but everybody knows that English is not your first language. But when you go, just do your best. And guess what? She did her best. That people keep asking in English, they want her to come back. So that should tell you something. Find people who connect with people, who do well with people skills on the technical and before and behind, talent in front of the camera and personnel behind the camera. All right, everybody agreeing with Adrian. What is Adrian saying? Booth, oh yeah, willing to take instruction. Yeah, I used to have to take a lot of instructions from Adrian Booth, just so you all know. We used to work together in the NCU as student workers. So Adrian, shout out to you, bro.
Okay, so there's a question that has come up in different ways, and that is about targeting your audience. So, I mean, there are so many people you can reach. How do you even narrow it down? You know, do you target like a specific demographic on a specific week? How would you tackle that? And then should you have the mindset that most of your audience will not be SDA?
Want to take that, Mirari? You want me to jump in?
Yeah, sure. I think depends. Like if you're thinking how you can approach to that audience, it's first, the question is where you want to do it. Like if you want to do a Facebook, you have to know which age you have to like prepare that program or how you want to engage with them. If you want to do Instagram, if you want to do a YouTube, it's like a different setup of how you want to do it. First, let's put an example. If you want to do a Facebook page from local church, right? So you are doing live from all the programs Saturday morning. So you have to think like if anyone who is not SDA commenting something inappropriate, something saying, oh, you're wrong and this and that, first, you have to think to be kind. You cannot reply any comment in the same way the person or trying to argue with them on social media. Another point that I will clarify is on our personal account, I cannot attack my church belief. I cannot attack another members. Even if they are wrong, I have to do it privately. That is, I think, to be matured spiritually.
What she just said there, so many churches make that mistake.
Yeah, I can add something else. Well, as a social media in different pages, I had different comments like that. So what I replied to them, I would love to help you with any more questions you have. You can contact me either privately or on Messenger or something like that to clarify whatever they need to know more.
All right, and when you're speaking and doing programs live, the only thing I'll add is don't use jargons, you know, like what's this one that every Adventists like to say, the spirit of prophecy says. Like, who's the spirit of prophecy?
That's so true.
Or what is the spirit of prophecy?
Yeah.
You know? And nobody knows what that is, man. You know what that is. The church know what that is. But if you're talking to a non-SDA audience, SDA is another thing that we assume people know. That actually in Africa carries a different connotation, a negative connotation. In some parts of Africa, I was told don't use that. So you gotta be mindful of that. How do you use analytics effectively to improve your posts? Very good question. That helps with when you do your analytics, you will know who you're reaching, male, female, the age groups, and that will actually help you with adjusting your program accordingly, and demographic, geography also, where the people are watching from. And so that's very important. Let's say, for example, if you are doing a program on October was Breast Cancer Month, breast cancer awareness, right? And you're targeting breast cancer, and you have a majority of, you would expect that your audience would be majority of females, correct? But if you have a demographic, then you have to ask yourself, what is it that's happening while your program is not being effective? So your demographic will tell you, okay, you're being effective with your outreach because you're specific, you're targeting that. If you're just doing something in general, then you just kind of make an assessment. Okay, this is going good, this is not going good, this is what I want to do, and just move with that. You have to be flexible where that is concerned.
Okay, so we're just going to take one more question from Pastor Francois. He put his hand up, so we'll actually just let him state his question, and that will be our final question.
On Facebook or YouTube or whatever, between a subject, but they are going viral, for example, but how can you control their conversation? Because it is not you, but it is they are talking to each other. Even right. on
very good
Zoom.
question. Very good question. So there are some churches who do not allow chats to take place in their live streams. I don't agree with that. That's my personal exposure and experience. If you limit the chat feature, then you're trying to control what people will say in the process. Remember the first slide on the streaming, I said, once you start the stream, it's for the public, it's not for you. So once you go live, expect people to say anything and everything. But that's why I have Mirari. That's why I have a digital interest coordinator. That's why I have a social media facilitator, because that person's responsibility is to make sure you clean up profanity. You're going to see profanity. You're going to see nudity. You're going to see all sort of crazy things that you're not supposed to see. And you have to have somebody responsible to, hey, you clean up that for me, delete that, make sure that that doesn't go up there. Now the conversation, the facilitator may speak to the person and ask the person to desist from their comments. And then there comes a time when you just have to remove that person. Okay, so you may have to block that person from having a conversation. I moderate the North American Division's Facebook chat at times. When they're doing special programs, I'll be brought in to manage that. And there are times when some people go off the rails, and I'll get a text from somebody that says, okay, block that person or remove them from the chat. I just have to remove them because they're just derailing what we're trying to do. But you got to be comfortable with ambiguity is what we're driving at. You got to be comfortable with ambiguity. And remember, the chat space is not the most holy of holies, okay? So people will say anything they want to say inside here. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pastor. Good.
Okay, thank you so much. And that brings this presentation to a close. So I just want to thank our speakers, Rohan Wellington and Mirari Medina. You've been amazing. We've gotten so many positive comments in the chat about how, this session was very relevant, practical, hands-on. Someone just said great presentation with a lot of exclamation marks. So we just want to thank you so much for taking your time out to share your expertise with us.